Hope you're doing well. Hope life's going good for you. Haven't seen you in ages. A lot has changed, let me put it that way. Anyways, welcome back. I'm back. It felt very weird to have a break from YouTube. Every Sunday I would just naturally as a routine go onto my channel and go to look at the new comments on the new video, and there was no new video. So it was nice to have a break. I felt like I got very refreshed. I had some new video ideas and things, and I just got a bit of, like I said, like I wanted to, I got a bit of a fresh perspective. And I've been writing Splash. He's been going amazingly. Honestly, I have gained a much more fresh enjoyment from my writing that I didn't think I would get. And Splash has been incredible. That's not what this video is for. We'll talk about that later. Today I have a Pony Problems with Paige episode for you. So I'm sorry if the tripod is wobbly, but I have it on a bed and I'm moving. So today I have a Pony Problems with Paige episode for you, which I asked for questions on Instagram, you guys sent in, and I'm going to answer them. I think that's a good way to kick off this new YouTube phase in the new house, so let's get on to it. Just remember, I'm not claiming to be an instructor. This is just in my experience and in my opinion what I think would be the best way to approach it. Take it or leave it. Okay, so Equestrian Dream asks, hey, I was wondering when you ride bareback, how do you stay relaxed and flexible but not slipping off to one side, staying balanced, etc., so it's comfortable for the horse and pony and you? Thanks so much, I love your videos. Thank you. So me personally, I only ride bareback when I go to my eventing camps, which are every 6 months. So I don't have a very big experience riding bareback, but these are a few things that I've heard that can help you and that I've experienced. I'll be honest, I'm not the best bareback rider. I don't have the best balance in the world because I don't do it very often. I don't have the chance to. However, some tips I would give is try and make your body, when you're riding bareback, the whole idea is that you want your body to mold into the horse. So if you are, say you're trotting, which I actually have always found trotting easier than cantering. I don't know why. Usually it's the opposite for people. But try and think of your body as jelly and think of your body as Play-Doh, like molding into the shape of the horse. So don't be too stiff and rigid or tense when you're on bareback, because it will clench everything and pop you off the horse's back, and that will make it uncomfortable for them and it will make it uncomfortable for you. Think about not gripping on with your knees so you can sit really, really deeply, and make sure that if you are gripping with anything, you're gripping with your lower leg, not your upper leg, because that's going to pop you out of the horse's shape and will make it much more uncomfortable. Another tip too is when you are riding bareback, staying relaxed and flexible, you really have to, I'd start gradually go up the paces. So start and walk, get a feel for your horse, start and trot, do a couple of trot strides, come back to walk, do a couple of walk strides, trot for a stride, come back. Do a lot of changing transitions, and transitions is going to get you the most flexible and the most, I don't know what the word is, but it's going to get you most, I suppose, molded and in sync with the horse. If at any point you feel like you have lost your balance, use your mane to grip and to shift yourself back up. Do not use your reins, because eventually your horse becomes very hot and they will become very tense because you're ripping on their mouth, bouncing on their back and all these things. So if at any point you feel you've lost your balance, just grip onto that mane. You will find your balance again much quicker than if you're trying to use your reins, which is being a bit unfair on your horse anyways. Charlie Equestrian asks how to stop your legs flapping in trot. So when you're trotting up and down, your legs going bing, 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 bing on the side. Biggest thing I think when you need to fix that is you need to have a visual representation of what you want your riding to look like. So if you want still legs, which is what we all want, I personally don't have very still legs, something that I need to work on, but I do find that if I am flapping about my legs in trot, if I kind of use the image of there being a string under the horse's belly, kind of pulling my legs in and just anchoring them, usually I can feel like I'm getting a bit more, I'm using my imagination to create the image of what I want. and that is I want my feet to be the anchor. And an anchor doesn't go like this, flapping about in trot. It stays and it just sways back and forth. So you need to use visualization as your main technique, I think, for stopping your legs flapping in trot. Also as well, think about gripping with your lower leg and thinking about putting your heels down. That's going to help you create a more stable leg. And yeah, that's pretty much it really. I think the reason as well flapping in trot can tend to be a thing where your horse isn't going forward, so you're just like, go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward, and you're just constantly flapping, and you're not giving your horse a chance to, you're not correcting your horse on anything, you're just constantly buggering him and annoying him. So also as well, that leads into, you know, if your horse is being lazy, make sure you give them an aid, they react to it, and then you leave them alone. And that will, again, those two kind of things, visualization and that, will stop your legs from flapping in trot. Joy Avis asks, my pony is an amazing pony and will jump anything, but she tends to run and brush at the jump. She will also buck coming up to the jump to find her balance. My coach says I need to sit up more, but she will buck if you sit up. Any ideas of how to fix this? I'm not sure about the whole bucking thing, because I don't feel that most horses I know would buck to find their balance, so I'm not going to address that, but I will address the run and rush at the jump. So I used to ride a horse I've ridden a horse before who I used to school jumping, and he is very rushy. And he likes to set his eyes, bang, 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 and go over it. It's just what he likes to do. That's how he is, and I think that has developed from a number of reasons, but the biggest thing is that this horse is fast, and people are constantly hanging off his head, and it's a pull, I want you to slow down, no, I can pull harder, and then they end up running and rushing. So first off, if you're going to ask your horse to slow when they start rushing, it needs to be a pull, a release. The release is the most important part. You can't just keep pulling, because they are stronger than you and they're going to pull harder than you. So the biggest thing is you need to pull, then release. Pull, then release. And that release is the biggest thing. And when you get a reaction from that release, that's when you know you've achieved like a point where you can start to control the rushing or the bolting or whatever you want to call it, rushing. When you're jumping, a few exercises you can do is you can put a ground pole before and after the jump. That means that your horse needs to slow down, they need to take into account what they're doing, and they need to concentrate on, you know, their footing and where they're gonna take off their stride, where they're gonna land. They need to concentrate, and that will kind of bring their attention away from getting to the jump really fast and bring their attention into thinking and interpreting what is in front of them. So have a takeoff pole and a landing pole. That will kind of improve your rushing. You can also try and, when you come on the straight line to your jump, do a halt transition and then just walk and then just trot over the jump. I found that helped with the horse I was riding. I did that very repetitively, and eventually he came to anticipate the halt. So he slowed down a bit, but then when I asked him to go forward, he jumped it quite nicely. So that's something you could do too. Ellie asks, how to make the most of lessons when you can't ride often. I love your videos, by the way. Thank you. How to make the most of your lessons. I actually have a whole video, 10 ways in which you can make the most out of your lessons if you don't ride often or you just want to get a bit more productive. So I'll leave that in the link below. However, I think the biggest tip is take every opportunity that is given to you and give it your all. That's just the #1 rule, really. There are a whole bunch of other little things you can do. Like I said, I have that video that you can go check out. But I think that's the #1 rule. Just take up every single opportunity that you get and put your all into it. And eventually, if you do that for every ride, you are going to improve so much. Connie Exo asks, whenever my horse is in group lessons, he follows the other horses and refuses to go open order. And when I do self-rides on him, he panics. How can I build up his confidence for him to ride by himself and without other horses? When we rode out, where I ride, there are a bunch of arenas next to each other. So the group would ride in one arena, and what I would do, just to keep Winston kind of chilled out, is I would start in that group. Ask your instructor or ask like a coach who is with the group, cannot you just ride by yourself? Can you ride in there and do your own thing and just work around those horses? Once your horse feels comfortable, then I usually try and ride them not far away, but by themselves in a separate arena, doing their own thing. And if they kind of if your horse is, okay, let's say for example you have your arena here with all the group horses and the arena that you want to ride in. So you've got 2 arenas. Now if your horse is in this arena and they're constantly trying to get near this one, go there, but make that really hard. Make them work and, you know, do lots of circles and lots of twists and serpentines and all that kind of stuff. And then when they come, and they'll look for a different spot where, hey, where is there a break from this work? This is really intense. And they'll begin to merge and go into the other spot. And then you can leave them alone over here. And if you repeat that, this kind of is an analogy that I got from Warwick Schiller. I didn't use this when I first started riding Winston, but I know it would help because I've used it recently with other horses. But if it's okay if your horse wants to go over to the other group of horses, that's fine, but when they go over there, make them do heaps of work, do lots of twists and turns. It doesn't have to be at a canter or at a trot, it can just be lots of twisty turns and things, and make that really intense. And then when they go to, you can do this on a long rein too, so don't be too controlling of where you want to steer your horse. And then if they kind of merge over to here, drop the work, give them a break, and this becomes a rest area, and the horse is going to gradually want to move away from this work area where the other horses are and go into that rest area. I think that's the beginning of getting your horse working in a space where you want them to and where they feel comfortable working in that spot. So that's kind of one way you can do it. I will try and find a video of Warwick Schiller explaining it a little bit better than I have. But it really does work, and I used it with a horse a few months ago because he was constantly wanting to go to the gate, and he was being a real pain because the gate is near the stables, which is where the horses are, which is where he wants to be. And I made that gate section really difficult and really hard and lots of intense work there, and eventually he found a resting spot on the far end of the other arena, and he would go there by himself, and I could hold his reins by the buckle and just tell him to trot, and he'd stay in that rest area because he knows over here is a lot of work. So I'll try and find a video and link it so that I can explain that a bit better, but that is something that I would do. Next thing too is try and treat your horse is looking for a leader, so be very asserting, I don't know if that's the word, be very determined. Tell your horse where you want it to go. The reason why they're looking for other horses is because they want security, so you need to become the security for them. So tell them where you want them to go. Make it very black and white for them. Reward them when they're being very good, and they will eventually come to find trust in you, leadership in you, security in you, rather than looking for that in the other horses. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This is my first video back, so I'm sorry if it was a bit rambly and a bit long, but I hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you next week for another video. Goodbye!